Sunday morning. That must mean it's a brew day. Just spent about half an hour tidying everything up. My wife insisted on a Belfast sink, and if you are redesigning your brew shed, please make sure you get a Belfast sink. The high tap and the extra space there is fantastic for filling your vessels and sorting everything out. I'm using my standard VWP. I think I dilute it a little bit more than is suggested on the back, but it's worked fine for me, no infection so far. And this is actually my anniversary brew on this kit. Looking back at my notes, my first brew on my Pico boiler was on March 17th last year. So we are going for a simple Pilgrim smash. I won some Pilgrim hops from Steve, who's now at Homebrew UK, on a forum competition, and to taste what they were like, I just did them in a simple pale malt smash and absolutely loved it. So it's a brew that I'm doing again with an idea that it will be sort of my gardening lawnmower type beer for the summer. And at Christmas I got a grain mill, so I'm going to split my pack of Pilgrim hops across 2 brews. Today's brew is using crushed grain, and I'll rebrew it in a couple of weeks with uncrushed grain, which I'll crush myself. It'll give me a little chance to see how big a bump in efficiency crushing my own grain gives, and it'll give me lots of beer to drink over the summer. Today's going to be a little bit hectic. I've got a schedule there just of everything that I need to do. I meant to bottle my brew firm kit yesterday, so today was all about the brew, and I didn't get round to that. So I've got to try and fit in a bit of bottling. I think I've got a schedule that will work, so it might be a little bit hectic, but I'll be back to you when we've got some interesting stuff going on. Cheers. So mashing time. Taking about 40 minutes just to get everything tidied up and, well, everything nice and ready to go. Brewing the bag, for those of you not familiar with it, you heat up ideally all of your water, so your mash and your sparge water in one. So this is up to 72 degrees. My Pico boiler isn't quite big enough for a full brew length, so I do a little dunk sparge. So this is up to 72 degrees, and hopefully I won't have to do too much adjustment to get it down to 65 degrees for the mash. As I said, I've got 25 litres in here, and this is 5 kilos of pale malt that will go in. I've weighed out my hops next door. I'll get a picture of them. So Pilgrim 10.3, which I think is about the same as the last batch that I had. These I'll be using pellets today, whereas last time I used leaf. I'm aiming for as close to 25 litres as possible, so I think this poor little Pico is going to be operating at capacity come boil time. But I will see you possibly for a hop edition or two. Cheers. Now the fun starts. Sparging has been a little bit the nemesis for me. I've tried a few different things. It's not something that my no frills brew in the bag technique necessarily lends itself to. As I said, I can't quite do a full volume brew in a bag on the Pico. Last brew I did a dunk sparge that worked really well, worked a bit better, so that's what I'm going for again. So this is normally a little bit messy. I need to give it another little stir, so I'll rinse that panel in a second. And then repurposing, I've got an old dish tray that works brilliantly on that container. My bag will go up there, and I've got just over 10 litres of hot sparge water to pour through it, and I'll leave it for 15 minutes to have a little sparge. While that's sparging, I will stick that on for a sort of mash out, which will help me get up to boil temperature. And one good thing that I found today is I can clean a set of bottles in the time it takes me to do a mash. So once this is ready, you may join me in the shed to siphon across the brew firm kit and get that ready for bottling. A little squeeze here helps. And I should really invest in some silicone gloves to help me out here. And I'll let that have a little through with a bit of a squeeze and a sneaky look. That's looking about 19 litres of wort there already. And if I can get close to another 10 here, the pico will be boiling at capacity, as I said, but hopefully that will give me close to 25 litres in the fermenter. Cheers. So welcome to the shed. This is where I do my bottling. Rightly or wrongly, I'm a suck starter on a siphon. I did find a little trick when I started using the aquarium water bath. For ease, I just brought the whole thing out here. And it's actually helped me when I'm bottling or transferring to my bottling bucket. This is a brew firm kit that was supposed to be 9, but I diluted to 10.5 litres. But I found that as the wort transfers out, the bucket starts to float up, and you can leave, well, your trub moves slower than your beer, and it's worked for me, leaving more trub in here than I used to. So I do need to try and keep a hand here. I've tried a few siphon clips and they don't seem to work with this one, and I will try and take a cheeky hydrometer reading before I put it on the priming sugar. I always put my priming sugar into my bottling bucket first and rely on the siphoning to mix it. I might just stop it here rather than do this on camera. Cheers. So that has had about 20 minutes in the dunk sparge. I've transferred my brew firm kit across, have pictures of the final result, and I'm just going to jug in as much as I dare here. As I said, we're reading about 19 litres, and we're almost at the rolling boil already. And I think I might have more wort than I can boil, but we'll see how that turns out. So 10 minutes to go in with the wort cooler, and I have my Irish moss going in with my 10-minute addition. I found a hop schedule of 60 minutes for bittering, and then ooh, it's not like that. And then flavour additions at 10.5 and flame out have worked really well for me. And I think it's just as well I'm going to be here. I think this is going to need some stirring, so excuse me while I tend to the brew. Right, that's happier at the side. I think to try and cool it, I was having it round. I normally go totally opposite side from the element, and I was maybe on there. I do have a false bottom in there, which I think I took a picture to show as well. So anyway, 10-minute addition with Irish moss, and that's the cooler in to sanitize it. And I've got another 10 grams of Pilgrim to go in at 5 minutes and at flame out. Cheers. So that's the air up, flame out hops, and kill the heat. I'll just get that out the way now. So I think I'm going to have to turn that a little bit, just because my hose isn't going to reach for cooling. I did end up adding those extra 2 litres of wort that I had from the dunk sparge. So according to the scale here, just a tiny bit down on 29 litres. I've got about 2.5 litres of dead space, so I should be really close to my 25 litres. Just a little recap, it was 5 kilos of pale Irex malt. I think that was from Get a Brewed, and I was using 50 grams of Pilgrim hops, which I got from the home brew company, and I split them with a 20-minute bittering addition at 60 minutes, and then 3 flavour additions at 10.5 and flame out. So I'll have a little think about what I can do competition wise for maybe somebody getting some beer mail, maybe from the two brews, so you can compare them. But I hope you've enjoyed my brew day. Cheers. I thought I was finished. Chilled it down. I'll double check the temperatures. I'm transferring it here. Going to drop it from height. Again using the dish rack, and I also put it through a sieve just to collect any debris. Need to take a gravity reading. I maybe need to have a look at Beersmith. I tend to use Brewer's Friend, and to be honest, the system that I do, there's not an awful lot I can do if I get a pre-boil reading that's lower than I was expecting. Something that I can maybe look into, but I tend to just go with what I end up with. After chilling down, we have just under 27 litres according to the scale there. We'll see what gets transferred here, and then we have our rehydrated SO4 ready to pitch. Cheers.